The increasing number of English language learners, also known as ELL students in U.S. schools, and the consistent academic underperformance of this group has led to important questions on identifying strategies to facilitate the learning of ELLs. While the number of ELLs has significantly increased, the achievement gap between those who are literate in English and those who are not has not significantly changed. They face obstacles when learning English literacies, especially when they have to demonstrate it through their writing skills. Several studies have shown that ELL students typically require 5 years to catch up to native English speakers in their classrooms. As a result, high school dropout rates increase within English language learners because of the pedagogies used in a mainstream classroom. These students are expected to learn English and be at the same pace as their native English classmates within a year. However, students still struggle to understand teachers and their instructions years later because of their lack of recognition. The problem is not that they lack knowledge compared to their peers, but that these students have different prior knowledge on how to demonstrate their work. These students suffer academically, causing the achievement gap between those who know English and those who do not to widen. To bright light to the situation, a pedagogy method called identity text can be used by teachers in their classrooms. This all started in a Canadian school where teachers were able to provide a platform of identity text to students that enhanced their engagement when they were given the opportunity to use personal connections in their writing. Now the question here is, what are identity texts, and why is it important for teachers to use this teaching method in their classrooms for ELL students? Let's start with the definition of identity text. Identity text supports pedagogy that promotes academic expertise and multiliteracy development in classrooms. Students can use different representations of identity text, such as in writing, speaking, musical, dramatic, or multimodal text, which creates a context where a variety of languages are used and cultures are presented in classrooms. Teachers can utilize this platform to allow students to use their home language in mainstream classrooms. Some educators look at a student's home language as a barrier for learning instead of a skill they can use to manifest their knowledge and understanding. Identity text can help students improve their academic achievements, engage in multilingual literacy, and help develop student identity. Teachers need to promote identity text in classrooms so students can be able to represent their culture and knowledge with peers. Additionally, identity text can introduce students to other cultures in their classrooms, widening their perspectives on how others live around them. Furthermore, the use of identity text fosters explicit acceptance of all students' culture and linguistic backgrounds, increases self-awareness of their existing identities, and promotes the inclusion of a range of social identities. Identity texts aim to promote literacy engagement, cross-language transfer, and identity development through students' home language and culture backgrounds. For example, teachers created the Coming to Canada project that allowed English language learners to relate their immigration stories with their traveling. Students were given the opportunity to use pictures and artwork that created a personal connection with their culture when creating this project. Identity texts like these motivates students to practice higher thinking skills and promote meaningful learning experiences for them to remember. I interviewed a fellow classmate on her thoughts about identity text. Do you think identity text should be implemented in the United States curriculum?
I think that identity text should be utilized in the United States because it will really help those of minorities feel more included in the school system.
Do you think identity texts benefit ELL students in classroom?
I believe that the use of identity text in the classroom will help English language learners see themselves in their learning and feel a sense of belonging, and therefore they'd be more motivated to do their assignments.
Previous research shows the benefit of using identity text to support English language learners in ELL classrooms in a Canadian school setting. However, this research is limited on how identity text might support English language learners in the United States that consists of a broader range of ethnicities with many languages. Future research should be conducted to replicate these findings of how identity text benefits ELL students in U.S. classrooms. More research should be conducted on pedagogies teachers can use in their classrooms and teachers' preparation programs and how to integrate identity text in classrooms. If students are allowed to use identity text throughout their educational experience, they may be able to improve their literacy skills and form their cultural identities.